Welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast. We're going to chalk up another year. We're up to about 19. Happy New Year 2025. My name is Bill Caskey.
And I'm Bryan Neal here.
We are delighted to have you. If you are a new listener, if you just decided over the holidays, you know what, I've got to get into this podcasting scene. What should I listen to? And you asked 10 of your friends and they all said the Advanced Selling Podcast. We welcome you.
All of them said that. All of them. You're having some, food, a little cocktail, Christmas cheer with your cousins or your uncle who's in sales, and you're talking about podcasts. Have you ever heard of the Advanced Selling Podcast? Well, now you have. Yeah. Welcome. Glad you're here.
And you can go to our page, advancedsellingpodcast.com, and somewhere on that page, you'll see the top 20, 25 episodes. That's a good place to start. I wouldn't start in 2006. You've got a lot of listening if you start there, but we picked out the top 25, and that's a good place to begin. We probably need to revise that top 25 list because
we could do that.
I think we've hit on some gold mines here recently that people like. So
we're getting better over 18 years, getting better.
Yeah.
Getting better, improving. Hey, you've got something new coming up for The Insider. Why don't you tell everybody about that, please?
Yeah, The Insider is our monthly training coaching program that we do. It's 75 minutes a month. You show up. We have a different topic each month. And this topic is going to be interesting. We're going to help you decide what your customer transformation is. In other words, where are you taking your customer when they agree and they engage with you? And it's one of the things that we've done in our practice a lot more is to help the client decide where they want to go instead of always focused on pain and problems and what you're trying to avoid. We want to do a little bit of that, but we also want to chart a course, and we're going to teach you exactly how to do that. And that'll be coming up. It's the second Friday in January because the first Friday's people still traveling. So go to advancedsellingpodcast.com/insider. Check it out. Look to see you there.
Yeah, everybody that's entering a new year and says, I want to up my game. It's just a fantastic program. Not only you get direct live coaching with Bill, but you also have this community. The people, and it's funny, they're like these sub communities that I know about. They're met in the Insider across the world. It's crazy, the people across the globe. So if you're looking for a community to belong to, it's a fantastic group to do that. So we're going to talk about reentry stuff today. Unrelated to that though, Bill. You know how you're watching TV sometimes and something just sort of hits you a little, what'd they say? And you have to rewind and say, what'd they say? So I love Dateline and 48 Hours in 2020. My wife and I watch them all the time. It's great. So I was watching Dateline the other day, and it's about it's a true crime murder. And it's about this woman or this guy who met this kid. This kid's like a murderer. And it's a story of his growing up, and it's about his stepdad. Okay, so this is the introduction of the stepdad of this kind of murderer guy. Okay, so this is, and you need to listen to how not only this stepdad met the mom, but also what the stepdad was doing for a living when he met the mom. This is what
are we going to get in trouble for doing this?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right,
ready?
Yeah.
David Rossi is Nicholas's adoptive father. Nicholas was 8 when David married his mom in 1996. The two fell in love in a Rhode Island nightclub where David was an Engelbert Humperdinck impersonator who mingled with his idol and sang his hit songs.
Okay. Thank you for your reaction. I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
So I've heard of Elvis impersonators. I know that, Frank Caliendo is a character guy. I didn't know that you could make a living in the 90s as an Engelbert Humperdinck impersonator.
No.
And you see this video, and he's like going to town. Did that strike you the way?
Oh my God! Well, I wasn't expecting it. It kind of came out of nowhere.
Exactly. That's what I said. I watched this, and they're so good at telling the stories, like where he was working as an Engelbert Humperdinck impersonator.
Yeah. Well, isn't he on?
Oh my!
Isn't he on one of the Voice knockoffs in England?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I think he's risen again from the ashes. And he's like 80 years old.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's Tom Jones. I'm sorry.
Tom Jones. Yeah. Tom Jones is, yeah.
Yeah. I always get those guys mixed up. But
yeah, that's a little different, wasn't it?
That's a rough start to
a little different. I just, you're kind of going through your inventory of life, and you're thinking of, updating your LinkedIn profile, and I was AE for Procter and Gamble, and then from 96 to 98, I was an Engelbert Humperdinck impersonator at the Holiday Inn Express in Missoula, Montana. I'm like,
be authentic, buddy.
To each his own, right? To each his own.
Yeah. If you're in the valley, be proud of it, because everybody's been in some valley.
He was, they interviewed him later. He was really proud of him. He's a good guy, just funny. Engelbert Humperdinck.
Well, he couldn't be too good of a guy if he was on Dateline for a murder. So
I always go to the backstory. Like at some point he's like sitting around like, so what are you thinking about? Well, I got my degree, but I'm really thinking about becoming an Engelbert Humperdinck impersonator. What do you think? I'm like, where does that even come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
Well, the Elvis impersonator market is so crowded.
Oh, it's good. See, this guy's Blue Ocean. That's a good point, Bill.
Blue Ocean.
He's a different, right? He's taking a different path. I love it, right? Yeah.
In all fairness, I really did like Engelbert Humperdinck's music. He had some really good love songs, some really good soft melodies, and he was good.
Yeah, and the young crowd, you're going to have to.
I know.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
So here you go again.
So,
your brand is a senile old Humperdinck.
No, it's not. It's just what you know. But going to make sure we have young listeners now, so
we do.
Google it or ask your parents. Okay, January 6th re-entry. Let's go. What do we do? It's January 6th, first episode. Everyone's a little swollen, a little tired, a little hungover. Sugar.
Did you say swollen?
Swollen. Yeah. Swollen. You little fluffy, right?
Not from weightlifting, you mean?
Not at all. No, from sugar and flour. So what do we do? It's time to go.
All right. Can I offer first?
Please. Let's go.
Right. So we go back and forth here on this. And we as usual, if you're new to this, you need to know that Bryan and I do not talk about our tips before.
We don't.
So sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're not, but usually they're
pretty close,
cohesive.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time of year. We did our reflection exercise. So if you didn't listen to that and you're still, kind of in the holiday spirit and want to reflect a little bit, we released our last episode of the year last year on what should I be reflecting on. But here's one thing that I think we should always be thinking about is, why do you do what you do? You are in the world where you are business developing, you're account managing, you're running a company, you're running a sales team, whatever. We know that most of our listeners are in business, and customer acquisition or growth is a part of that. And I think it's always important to stay connected with, why do you do what you do? What's the purpose behind the money and behind the achievement? And I think when we lose sight of that, I'll be honest with you, I've lost sight of that before, and I might go for 2 or 3 months and it's all about the sale or the money, and then the money stops coming in, and then I have to think, now wait a minute, I've got my eyes off the ball. It's not that I'm not working hard enough, it's that I'm doing it for the wrong reason. And sometimes we just have to be reminded of that. So that's my reminder.
That's really good. My first one, and two of mine are related. Is to physically get out into the market. Physically get out into the market. The first tip around that, if you haven't already, it's January the 6th. This week, reach out to as many connector, center of influence, referral partner, business friends as you can, and go meet them for coffee or breakfast or lunch or whatever you do. I think getting physically up and out of your office and away from your email, because you're already a little anchored from the holiday, that kind of, it's like, and you sink into the chair, you sink into the desk, you sink into the computer, get up and go out. That's the first thing. And then make it easier on yourself by asking colleagues, that you know really well.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go grab lunch. Let's go grab coffee. Just get out. Fill that calendar up for the next 2 weeks with as many outside meetings as you can.
Get some reps in.
Yeah. Get some reps. Yeah. Get some reps.
They don't have to be massive prospects.
Nope.
They could be just, I love that idea. And I'll be honest with you, I don't do enough of that. And I need to do more, because I know a lot of people here in the city. I just don't think of that. I think, okay, Zoom, LinkedIn. And so that's great advice. Well, you've heard us talk about this, and I've noticed in the past year that whenever we do an episode on personal branding, that it gets it's starting to get up there and get a few more viewers. And I have a YouTube channel, and I did a couple of shorts on personal branding, and it was by far the highest of all the ones that we've done. It had the most views. And so I think the time is here for a lot of people to finally say, okay, it's time. I've got to build this brand. And with all the stuff going on in the world, and, are we going into a recession or not, or what, there's all these questions. One thing that does not change is you. And you have talent, wisdom, knowledge, expertise, experience, stories. You have all these things that I would consider your personal brand. And it's time this year to start to develop it if you haven't already. And stop dabbling in it and start getting serious about it. And it's not that difficult to do, but you do have to spend a couple hours just thinking through, okay, how am I going to represent myself? What kind of social media content am I going to build? What do my videos look like? I mean, there's some things that you can just go to Claude or go to an AI platform and just ask it, what are the 10 things I need to do to build my personal brand? It'll tell you.
Right. So good. And I love using those two things together. Or give me a personal branding strategy, or give me a to-do list for January and February and March, first quarter of 2025, an actual to-do list of what I should do each week. It's so good. And even if it doesn't, it's something. It gives you something. You can edit it, change it, or pick and choose, but you're sitting there staring at it. Well, I don't know what to do. What should I do, Bill? Is that how your clients talk to you? What should I do?
Very
Bill?
similar. Yeah, very similar.
Okay.
It sounds like.
So my next one is a version of the Get Out There, but it's a different version. I would challenge all you listeners. This is one of my, this has been on my personal business plan since I did my first one in the early 2000s. And I would say 80% consistent with this, never perfect, but pretty good at it. I want you to challenge yourself to consistently, and by consistently, for me, it's only 2 a month, but that's over time adds up, make unsolicited connections for others. So people that didn't ask to be put together, I might be talking to someone, I'm like, you need to meet Bill Caskey. Bill didn't ask for the intro. The other person, she didn't ask for the intro. I just see these things and go, these two need to know each other. Yeah. Hey, Bill, here, meet Janice. Janice, meet Bill. You guys both, I encourage you guys to try to grab a cup of coffee. You both live in Carmel. Yeah. And if you do one a week of those, making introductions to others is a karmic boomerang. It always comes back to you. You don't keep score. It's not tit for tat. That's not why you do it. Yeah. And but I'm telling you, if you that's putting yourself in the game, and that's part of going out there. It's related. It's more of but I'm going to make connections for others. Be a connector. Yeah. It's a really good thing to do early in the year.
Well, there you have it. There's 4 things. There's 4 things you can do, and these things don't cost. They don't cost money to do. I mean, if you're going to buy somebody lunch, maybe, but come on, we've got to think bigger about where we're going this year. And you've got your business plan done, hopefully, so you know where you're going. You have a monthly plan or a monthly action plan, and just incorporate these 4 things that we gave you into it, and you'll be off and running.
Off and running. January 6th. Here we go. 2025, Bill. Amazing. 2025. So what we do. The years keep clicking, don't they?
They do.
Years keep clicking. So go to advancedsellingpodcast.com. Go to LinkedIn, our big LinkedIn group. We got 14,000 people there. Our email is listener@advancedsellingpodcast.com. You can shoot us an email there if you got a topic or anything like that. And then join the Insider. All the things for Advanced Selling Podcast people are here for you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Away we go.
See you.
Cheers.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, let's do a promo for the for the one next week.
Reflection one,
which is the reflection one. So
good.
You want to keep this?
Yeah, keep it going. Yeah, sure. If you don't mind. Yeah, ready.
Hey, ASP listeners, Bill Caskey here.
Bryan Neal here.
We are delighted to bring to you the final episode of 2024. Do you hear the way I pronounced 20? I didn't just say 20. I said 2024.
Trying to pretend we're not from the Midwest, but we are.
That's right.
In this episode, we did a series of reflections. We think this is a great time for you to think a little bit about, ponder a little bit about your past and your future in a reflective sense. Just thinking, not planning, not hardcore, pen to paper, just some thought things, some things that philosophically you think, just where am I in life?
So listen to the episode. It should be out now. And if you really like it, there would be nothing wrong with bringing it to the Christmas dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Exposing other people to some of these questions of reflection and to the Advanced Selling Podcast, of course. You will be the hero of your Christmas dinner. You start bringing ASP episodes in, it's over.
I would even go so far as to do a QR code and as a stocking stuffer for your sales cousins and sales uncles. QR code, Advanced Selling Podcast. Start with the Reflections episode and see where life takes you.
That's awesome. Well, anyway, seriously, though, we loved your input this year, and we're glad you're with us on the journey. And have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year.
Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Bye.